Hi guys, welcome back to PBTV. We have a very special show today. We have the brand new SSR77, and rather than me just sit down and talk about it for a little bit, I've been joined by Pete. He's got the A1, I currently have the A2 in front of me, so we have taken these out on the range already to get an idea how they look. We've set them up MOSFET wise and hop wise just to see and show you what they are capable of on the field, and then we'll come back and have a little chat, but let's see how they performed on our outdoor range. Welcome to our outdoor range. Me and Pete have brought out the brand new SSR77 from Novritsch. We've got the A1 and the A2 set up slightly differently with the MOSFET settings, and I've got a hit cam on mine, so mine still has the AUG mode in it, so semi pull through into full auto with a little bit of pre-cocking. Pete, how's your setup?
Mine we've set up as semi-auto only, given that it's got the slightly longer barrel, the built-in scope. We've gone with more of a DMR build, so we've also got some pre-cocking on there as well to see how we do.
So let's see what these are like on the range. So we are recording with the hit cam on the A2. So you can see it's very easy to pull all the way through to full auto, nice about 22 rounds a second. So let's have a look at the A1.
That's nice. It seems to be hitting the can fairly consistently, and you can see I can either do the short pull of the trigger and get a shot off, and even if I do the full long pull, still only one shot. So that's the semi-auto only function demonstrated there quite nicely. But yeah, that seems very satisfying to shoot with that pre-cocking on it. Makes it quite quick trigger response. And yeah, I'm getting out to that can fairly consistently, so very good.
Cool. So join us back in the studio. We'll have a little bit more of a deeper breakdown of what's inside these and how we've set them up. So welcome back, guys. As you can see, they perform slightly differently in the way that we set them up, but again, that's more user preference. Again, I'd prefer to run this as quite an outdoory, maybe assault role, keep that full auto as an option. Pete set his up with the semi-only one. Again, it is the longer platform, but really, really good for that inherent CQB thing that we talked about. And one of the main selling points that Novritsch himself spoke about was AUGs have that problem with CQB.
Yes.
That you saw immediately as I shot this, very easy to pull it to full auto. Yeah. So you've set yours up slightly differently.
Yeah, well, we set it up in semi-only, basically, and I did. You saw me demonstrate that a slight trigger pull gets one shot, pulling it all the way just gets one shot. So no problems there, which, as Stuart's mentioned, you know, if you're going to be using this in a CQB environment, it's perfect. Yeah. You don't have to worry about accidentally drilling somebody with full auto.
They are known not to be a problem, but it's very difficult if you go to a CQB say, oh, I'll just do this the single shot.
Yeah, because in the heat of the moment, it's very easy to pull the trigger.
Even in Novritsch's video, his announcement video, if you watch him, he goes plays a CQB site and he just admits it and goes, he was playing with the A2, got the A1 out, and then went round, little burst, and went, oh. What's quite good about this is it is just trigger pulls to change this. It's not fast. It is a 20-second hold on semi-auto to go into programming, but you are able to do this mid-game if you want. So we'll have a little sort of breakdown of the two models. Obviously, the A1 is the classic Austria military issued platform, and I've got the nothing based off real here. This is a Novritsch modified what it could look like if it was brought out in this world, again with the M-lock and everything. But we'll start with the A1. Slightly heavier than the A2, but again, it's going for that classic look, and it does have an optic built in.
It is. I mean, I've had, for better or worse, I've had my hands on quite a few AUGs over the last few years. And I would easily say that this is the best put together one that I've handled so far. The thing that pointed that out to me, the main thing was the foregrip.
There's no wobble.
Is actually solid. I mean, there's a little bit, but
but it's not making the rattling noise.
No, exactly. Normally they
it's
flap around and everything, but this is such a positive
lock in.
Click, and it's in, and it's there, and you don't have to worry about.
So I didn't even notice that when I shot it outdoors. That last little just test to see what that semi-auto was like. People know my feelings of bullpups.
Yes.
Various different. There is pros and cons to them. I just have a personal feeling that they take too long to reload. So I don't really handle AUGs that often, but if you've handled quite a few and that's something that you've noticed, it's an immediate bonus.
Yeah, it's just very well put together. The quality of the metal on the barrel, for example, is very, 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 very good and really nicely finished. Just overall, really nicely finished.
Yeah, because I've noticed that with this as well. Obviously, these come in 2 parts in the box.
Yeah.
This is not. We're going to stress this many, many times. This is not an ease of pack away. So take the barrel out, put it in your box, and put it away. It is just a way of shipping and keeping the packaging smaller. Yeah. So the hop unit, barrel, and barrel assembly is all separate in the box. There are a certain procedure that you have to do to put them together. We will probably do a separate video of explaining that as like a short or something. But you have to do it in a certain order because there is a risk of damage. If the magazine is in, the magazine pushes the feed tube up into the hop.
Yes.
So if the magazine's in and you go back, you could damage that tube. They are very, very very well made. Like you've said, the tolerances are very, very tight.
Super tight.
So taking this in and out all the time, you're just going to be rubbing metal on metal. Yeah. You're going to lose a little bit of sort of that just scratching things. You're going to lose a bit of tolerance.
And to be fair, once they're together, I mean, even the longer one, I mean, this has got what, a 510 mil in a barrel in
so
it?
So 510, I do have many notes because there's lots of things to talk about. It's about 80 centimetres, is that?
Yeah, it's nothing really. It's your
100
average M4,
centimetre
isn't it?
case is, you're going to have plenty of space. This one is slightly shorter and slightly lighter, but I think that's mainly because of the integrated scope on yours.
Which actually, coming back to the scope, is not bad
compared to I look down again
compared to other AUGs. You look down it and you have instant regret. But this one, you can actually get a clear sight picture. Was it
it's 1.5
times?
We think,
isn't massive. I mean, personally, I would have liked it maybe a tiny bit higher, maybe a 2 or 2.5.
I think he's gone off. He's tried to make that one as close to
the real
mil spec or the issued one because he did some sort of military service for about a year, so it was that throwback to him doing that.
Right, okay.
So he's trying to make it as accurate as possible.
But the finding the eye relief point is very easy. The sight picture is clear. The reticle is clear. Adjustment is fairly simple. Although for some reason for the elevation you've got to get to this screw under here as opposed to.
And it is a flathead.
It is a flathead, yeah. I think as far as I can tell.
It might be like some sort of an Allen key tool that's got a flathead on one side.
Yeah, something like that. But again, once it's set, it's set. You don't have to worry about it. But
on the A2, we threw the hit cam on it. 2 reasons for that. One, just so we could see the BBs flying when we're on the range. And since we got them in like a week ago, everyone bought all the Novritsch scopes that we have. So we didn't have a Novritsch scope to put on this one.
No.
They will be back very, very soon.
You thirsty people.
They're all thirsty for it. So just shows that they are of a very decent quality and people are really liking them, but we also wanted to see how the BBs were flying when we were shooting this outdoors. Obviously, you've mentioned the inner barrel on that. There's a couple of things quite interesting about the A1 that you can't do with the A2. This is a slightly shorter barrel, 475, and you're pretty much stuck where you are with this. You could obviously lengthen your barrel if you wanted. They're both 14mm counterclockwise threads. You've got all the attachments you want, but we did notice, and I have seen that you can get a shorter barrel, that the outer barrel does come off this, and there is another 14mm thread underneath that.
There.
Obviously, when you take that off, it's just going to expose the barrel, but if you did shorten your barrel and then put the flash hider back on, you can make a much shorter A1 version.
Commando version or whatever they call it.
Or just throw a device on the front, if obviously maybe not a tracer unit because it wouldn't activate, but if you're wanting a suppressor on the front, cover the barrel with that and just have a similar length platform, but just something a bit more sneaky beaky if you're wanting something a bit unique.
You have options, basically.
Yeah. Obviously, the only other sort of lack of options with the A1 is it is a integrated optic, whereas with the A2 we do have that 20mm rail on there.
Yeah, there's no Riz on this one whatsoever.
Sling points, we've got QDs on the A2, so if you want, we've got one on either side here and at the back. You could mount something on the M-lock. I think you're limited to the sling loop.
A built-in sling loop on the back here and the one on the front. There's no. I don't know if there's an option to change that over.
If it swaps, it might just be a body pin, so you can swap it out to the other side.
But they are sort of fixed in. You can't move this one anywhere. It's just that is it.
So you keep your 2-point sling system.
Yeah.
Both the bodies are made out of the same material, so it is this fibre reinforced polymer. Again, picking them up normally. That sort of, I wouldn't say, it's not, these aren't plastic in any ways, but normally when you pick up an AUG, you have that squeak and creak of, you know what I mean, when you're holding something. These things just don't make a noise.
No,
like how well they're put together was very, very impressive. Like even the trigger pull, all like the safety and everything, the magazine in and out, just the tolerances have been really, really nicely put together.
Yeah.
You can obviously change left and right-handed if you want in certain things with shell ports and things.
Yes.
It is a rotary style hop. As I was saying, when you're putting this thing together, you rack this back and lock it up. I don't know how much you'll be able to see it in there, but there is a little red CNC hop in there, and they're calling it an infinite flat hop nub.
Right.
So again, I think 2.8s might have been a little bit heavy for this, for what we were shooting outside, because this one was coming in about 310. So I think maybe drop this down to 2.5s. I felt like I was slightly lobbing to get to the end of our range. It's not a short range at all, and it is a slightly shorter barrel. The semi-auto on that, I thought it was really, really impressive outdoors. You've got that extra little bit of barrel, might have helped as well. Yeah. So I don't know what you were feeling with 2.8s firing out of that.
No, it feels like it was pretty much the sweet spot.
So I think the A2 might be better with the 2.5s. But yeah, I was still very happy to run this again. I'll preface this with I don't like bullpups because of where the mag is and all that. But the pro of that is you are getting a 475mm barrel is something that's the same length as an AR basically. There's combat machines that are the same size as this, and you've got a barrel that's more than twice as big.
I know, it's ridiculous.
So yeah, again, we have said that you've set yours to semi-auto, but it's not set as DMR. We've done that for the CQB. They are quick change spring though. Yes. So if you're wanting to do a DMR and you're wanting to do that, it's quite easy to do.
Talking about that, going back to the Corona results, we did notice what was about a 10 FPS difference between the two.
Yeah, between the two. So you're looking at 35mm extra barrel. They are 6.03s, so they are both tight bores. So the difference in barrel length is giving you about 10 FPS. Spoke to the workshop because we were getting a slightly higher FPS result with full auto. They've seen that before. They know what it is. It's all about the discharge rate of the battery. So you might get it with some batteries, you might not get it with others. Just be very, very aware if you do change the spring and you get quite close to the FPS limit. If you're doing like 330, 340, full auto might kick you over. Where we were using 25C batteries, it's all about discharge rate. Apparently, it is a known thing by the workshop guys, so they just explained that. The one thing about batteries is we are quite impressed with the storage compartment of these. So we had a triple stick nunchuck in the A1, and it fit perfectly fine. And I just had a 1300 block sort of stick, and they both fit. They sound really nice as well. And even without a suppressor on, I thought like it must be, again, going back to the tolerances, they're just put together really, really well.
Yeah, nothing rattles or squeaks when you fire it either.
So going back to the MOSFET system that's in this, again, very similar to a lot of things that are out there. It is all trigger setup. So with the trigger, obviously you've got the AUG style system. So when you pull this, I've let it on safe because of various reasons. So that is semi-auto, and pulling it as all the way full auto. So you have to pull it down to here and hold it for 20 seconds. It does feel like a long time, but I think that is probably a choice where if you full auto, if you've got like a 3 to 5 second pull and you want to dump a mag or something like that, you're going to go into programming mode mid-game all the time. So I think that's probably why they've done it. So you hold that for about 20 seconds. There is the instruction manual that comes with it and the safety instructions. There is a little diagram on the back there. You definitely won't be able to see that. We'll probably put a picture up, but it comes with each one. And basically you go through like almost like a list system, like 1, 2, and 3. You click into it. So the way I had this one set up was we kept AUG mode. You can change it to burst or everything, and we had like I think it was level 3 pre-cocking on this, just so we could see that full auto, see the pre-cocking, whereas you had yours as semi-auto, and I think it was level 4 pre-cocking on that. There are various different things that you need to do with pre-cocking. Depending on what batteries you're using, they'd recommend don't go into level 5 for different things, but all that is given in the instructions. Very, very simple to use. It also shows you how to set the hop, how to put these things together. There is a little nub here. You've got the same one. That is the lock to put the barrel in and lock in place, but like we've said, once it's together, there's no reason to take it apart. Controls wise, they are both pretty much identical. That obviously you saw me playing with the safety on this one. The mag release is actually behind the magazine, so you press that out and it will drop the mag out. So it comes. They both come with the same mag, so you do get the green base with the A2 as well. Totally fine. You can get like the sort of black mags that if you wanted to have a slightly different setup. 180 rounds, and you were speed loading it on the thing, and you were saying that the spring is quite potent.
It is quite a strong spring in there, certainly. Yeah, we found that. It was a little pistol speed loader, so not terribly strong in the first place. But we did find that the BBs were returning back up into the speed loader sometimes because it couldn't quite keep the pressure.
Yeah, it's almost like you got to lift it a bit and use the sort of latch to hold the BBs in. Don't press it fully. No. But what we're saying with that is these things are churning out 22 rounds a second.
So you shouldn't have any feeding issues.
The thing that we find with Novritsch is you'll go, oh, why is this like this? And then you look at something else and go, like that on its own, in a sort of narrow view, you go, oh, it's really awkward to load these mags. But it's because this is 22 rounds a second and it needs to be able to feed that. So just be aware when you're looking at some things and you think, oh, that might be a little bit of a hindrance. Once you've got used to it, it means that this is going to run and dump that entire mag at 22 rounds a second.
Yeah, just get a better speed loader.
Yeah. Whether or not you can get an AUG adapter for an Odin or...
Oh, I'm sure they're out there.
There are all the electric press-down ones and all sorts of things. I'll stick to my little speed loader with gas rifles and things like that. So other options that you do have on here, you can set up a burst mode. So again, that full pull, you could set a burst mode. I think you have options as well to the actual level of burst.
Oh, what? So whether it's 2, 3, 5.
So what you have is you've got the binary setup, so you can have a binary system.
Right, I was going to ask.
So I presume that is the semi and then release, semi and release. Yep. So you can still pull through. So on your binary, you pull it, release it, and keep going, and you'll get full auto. But you can have a binary system. Binary and semi, 3-round burst. The auto system on. So you've got auto, 3-round burst, or deactivate. And then your pre-cocking is the third menu. So it's not as sort of broad as like a Titan or anything like that. You've got all the functions that you actually need, I think, with this one.
For your average player, it's more than enough to give them some choice.
Yeah. So your thoughts on which would you run in a game? And how would you set the trigger system up?
I quite like the DMR possibilities of the A1, to be fair. I thought I would prefer the A2.
Because the look of it.
Yeah, because the more modern... I suppose I do prefer the look of the A2, the more modern sort of the M-lock up front and the RIS to give you optic options on the top.
But now you've actually looked through that.
But now I've looked through that and I've fired it. I think this has good DMR possibilities out there. There's no reason it couldn't also be used as an assault rifle, to be fair. It's perfectly capable.
You've got the options, especially if you want to shorten the barrel, you can make it exactly how you want. And again, what we're on about with the M-lock, all the different angles on this. So normally with sort of the M-lock rails, the 45s are cut different and isn't. Yeah. This is M-lock on every single one. So you've got top and bottom, the 45s if you want to entangle a torch or anything. The thread does go slightly into the rail system, so I don't know if this is actually an over barrel one, so we'll have to find out where. Again, check the images. Pete will do all the photography and show you every little nook and cranny of this platform, so you'll know exactly where you can fit devices and things. But overall thoughts on the SSR, I think they're going to be very, very popular.
Yes, I think so.
Giving you the option of that sort of modern, sort of sleek, the black stealth, almost like a stealth bomber type vibe to it. It's very different, or the absolute classic. That's
I for me, it's the AUG was always one of those platforms that it seems the industry had just kind of settled on where they were. Yeah, you know, it got to a point it's like, this will do, whatever. Yeah. So it's nice.
There was no one innovating with it.
No, so it's nice to see that Novritsch has actually taken it and just made it better, made it what it could have been.
Yeah, you know. And looking at the story of this coming out, it's taken a long time.
Yeah,
it's one of his oldest projects.
Really?
Yeah. Wow. So all the other platforms that you see come out, he doesn't plan a platform, bring it out, next one. Yeah. This has been on the cards for years, apparently. Speaking to him and seeing some of his content coming out, I
suppose a labour of love given the Austrian.
Yeah, direction. And especially with the A1, I think that's why normally when he brings a platform out, he'll bring his iteration of it out. But I think that's where that's come from. It's if you want that classic look, it is probably it's going to be the best AUG on the market.
Yeah,
absolutely, with the MOSFET system in it, out the box, ready to go. The ability to shorten it, the optic actually having a reasonable eye relief on an Airsoft integrated optic.
Yeah.
You see some like the G36 ones where you're having to put your eye to it, and you're like, this is a little bit awkward. But I'm surprisingly impressed with it. I mean, I should be more than that with every Novritsch item that's coming out, he's going, oh, this shoots really well, it's really nice, it's really well made. And then I'm surprised when another one comes out and it's doing the exact same thing.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, will it sway me to run a bullpup in game?
No. Oh, okay, fair enough.
I mean, I would if someone offered me one, I ran around with it, but I can't bring myself to do it. It's just they take too long to load. I want to get rid of my mag and slap another one in it. Give me my M4 any day.
Surely that's just training, Stu.
It is, but it doesn't matter how much you train with it. It's just the ergonomics of it are wrong. But that's just me. So that is all the information that we can throw out about the 77. We've been messaged about when this is coming for weeks and weeks. Obviously, Novritsch released all of his videos back on the 11th. They are here. They will be available as soon as possible. We've even got more coming before they've gone online, because we have seen the sort of bubbling hype around this thing. So they are here. So if you want one, come and get one.
Indeed.
And you can have the A1 or the A2 and trick it out however you like. If you do get one and you want to trick it out very uniquely to you, tag us on Instagram or anything like that. We love seeing people's unique ideas and how they build things. But if that is everything for today, thank you very much, Pete, for joining me and having a little chat about the 77. We've got more plans for doing long format stuff like this. So as a thank you from us, please drop any comments down below about what you want to see, talk about. Me and Pete just love to waffle about various different things and get that information out to you as accurately as possible. But if that is all for today, thank you very much for watching, and we'll catch you in a bit. Bye.
Bye.